My name is Emily Thompson, and I'm 70 years old. Life has taught me that things don't always go as planned. The lines on my hands tell stories of happy times, sad moments, hard work, and special memories. Today, these hands hold my suitcase as I stand in a busy airport, waiting to fly to my son David's home in Portland, Oregon. It's been almost 2 years since I saw David in person. 2 years of video calls, seeing his face on my tablet, but not being able to hug him. Technology is amazing. I've seen phones change from big, spinning dials to tiny screens in our pockets, but it can't replace the warmth of being with someone you love. I check my boarding pass again, even though I know it by heart. Gate 32B, seat 14A. A window seat, because even at my age, I love watching the world shrink below as the plane flies into the clouds. The airport is full of people hurrying around, some excited, some tired. A young mom struggles with a stroller and a crying child, and I smile at her. I remember those days, though they feel far away now. Flight 286 to Portland is boarding, a voice says over the speaker. I grab my things and join the line. The man checking tickets nods politely. Good morning, ma'am. Going to Portland? He asks. Yes, to see my son, I say, handing him my pass. That's nice. Have a good flight. I walk down the jetway, feeling excited. David is my only child, born when I was 32 and thought I'd never be a mom. His dad, Robert, died 12 years ago after a short fight with cancer. Since then, I've lived alone in our Connecticut house, surrounded by memories and the garden Robert and I loved. The plane is cool and quiet. I find my window seat and settle in with my travel pillow and a book. A man in a suit sits next to me, smiles quickly, then starts working on his laptop. As the plane moves to the runway, I close my eyes and think of the last time I saw David. It was Christmas 2 years ago, before the world changed. He came home with his partner, Michael, and we spent a week together. We baked cookies, decorated the Christmas tree with old family ornaments, and talked late by the fire. When they left, David hugged me and said, "Come to Portland next year, Mom." But then everything stopped, and next year never came. The plane takes off, and I feel it push me back as we rise. Below, the East Coast turns into tiny squares. Soon, we're above the clouds, which look like fluffy islands in a blue sea. I think about David's life, so different from what I imagined. I thought he'd marry a girl from our town, maybe take over his dad's job and live nearby. Instead, he's a software engineer in Portland, living with Michael, a kind architect I now love like another son. Life doesn't follow plans, but I've learned to love the surprises. When David told us he was gay in college, Robert and I had to face our own worries. It wasn't easy, but love won. Now I can't imagine David's life any other way. The flight attendant brings me tea, and I sip it while looking out at America below. I've seen so many changes in my life. New inventions, big events, different ideas. Sometimes it feels like I've lived many lives in 70 years. I try to read my book but can't focus. Instead, I remember David as a boy, building towers with blocks, laughing when Robert chased him, or falling off his bike but always trying again. The man next to me is asleep, his head tilted oddly. Outside, the Rocky Mountains appear, their tops snowy even in spring. David told me on our last call, "We fixed the guest room for you, Mom. Michael made something special, but it's a surprise. And we'll take you to the coast. It's beautiful." His excitement made me smile. David wants me to move to Portland. "You'd love it here," he says. The people, the nature, it's amazing. Part of me likes the idea. My house in Connecticut feels too big, and winters are hard. But leaving the home where Robert and I lived, full of memories, is tough. The flight attendant says we'll land in Portland soon. I sit up and watch as we fly through clouds. Rain hits the window, Portland's famous weather. The plane lands softly, and I feel excited and nervous. People grab their phones, but mine stays in my purse. I'm still not used to always being connected. We reach the gate, and everyone stands, even though we're told to wait. The man next to me packs up quickly. Visiting family? He asks. Yes. My son lives here, I say. Portland's great. Enjoy, he says, then joins the crowd. I wait until it's less crowded to get up. My legs are stiff, but I move slowly. A flight attendant smiles. Take your time, ma'am. At baggage claim, I look for David. Then I see him, tall, with some silver in his hair now, standing with Michael, who's smiling wide. David waves, and I walk faster. He hugs me tightly, and the 2 years apart vanish. Mom, you're here, he says, his voice full of feeling. Michael hugs me next. Welcome to Portland, Emily. I step back to look at them. David has a beard now, and Michael looks the same, but with a few more lines around his eyes. They seem happy, and that's all I want. How was the flight? David asks, taking my bag. Long but nice. I had a window seat, I say. Your suitcase should be here soon, Michael says, pointing to the carousel. We parked close, and home's only 20 minutes away. We grab my big blue suitcase and head to their car. The air is cool and wet, so different from Connecticut. In the car, David talks about places he wants to show me. Gardens, bookstores, markets, restaurants. I smile. That sounds fun, but I came to be with you. David squeezes my hand. I know, Mom. We'll have lots of time together. The drive shows me Portland. Rivers, bridges, green trees everywhere. Michael points to a snowy mountain. That's Mount Hood. It's beautiful on clear days. We reach their street, lined with old houses. Their home is a cozy blue house with a big tree and colorful flowers. It's lovely, I say, seeing it in person for the first time. Inside, the house is warm, with wooden floors and big windows. David takes me upstairs to the guest room. When he opens the door, I gasp. The walls are covered with family photos. David as a kid, Robert and me when we were young, holidays and trips. In the corner is my mother's rocking chair. Is that? I ask, touching it. Yes, David says. It's Grandma's chair. Michael fixed it up. We shipped it here. I smile, remembering rocking David in it. This is Michael's surprise? It's perfect. There's more, David says, leading me to the window. Outside is a garden with roses, lilacs, and daisies, just like mine at home. Michael made it for you. Tears fill my eyes. You did this for me? Of course, Mom, David says. We want you to feel at home. After unpacking, I join them in the kitchen. Michael's making lasagna with vegetables from their garden. We cook together, laughing and talking. Over dinner, we share stories about the last 2 years, David's job, Michael's projects, my book club, and volunteer work. How's the house in Connecticut? David asks. It's fine, I say, but it's big for just me. David and Michael look at each other. Mom, David says, have you thought about moving here? We could help you find a place, or we're thinking of building a small apartment for you in our backyard. I think about it. That's kind of you. I'm not saying no, but it's a big choice. This trip will help me decide. No rush, David says. We just want you close. After dinner, we sit by the fireplace. Michael asks about Robert. I smile. He was serious but fun. He loved jazz, mysteries, and making David laugh with silly dances. David shares memories of camping trips and pancake mornings. I tell Michael, Robert would have liked you. He valued honesty and creativity. We talk late, but I'm tired from the trip. David notices. You should rest, Mom. Tomorrow we'll explore the neighborhood. In my room, I look at the photos on the walls. Our wedding, David's school pictures, family moments. I think about moving. I love being near David and Michael, but leaving my home where Robert's memory lives is hard. In the morning, rain taps the window. I'm awake early, still on East Coast time. Downstairs, David's making coffee. You're up early, Mom. Coffee? Yes, please, I say. I thought you'd be asleep. I have a work meeting, he says, but Michael will stay with you. We eat toast and fruit, and David talks about his job. After he leaves, I watch the rain and the garden. Michael joins me later and suggests the Portland Art Museum. They have great art, and it's not far. The museum is amazing. Michael explains the paintings, and I love the Oregon coast pictures. We'll take you there next weekend, he says. At lunch, Michael tells me about growing up in Chicago and meeting David. He talked about you and Robert a lot. I was nervous to meet you. You didn't need to be, I say. We saw how happy David was. He asks if it was hard when David came out. It was new, I say. We worried about his future, but loving him was easy. Michael smiles. David's lucky to have you. I ask about his family. My parents took time to understand, he says. They're okay now. I hold his hand. You're our family too. The week is full of fun, cafes, bookstores, parks. David joins us when he's not working, and we cook dinners together. I meet their neighbors, who are kind and welcoming. It feels like my old days in Connecticut. The coast trip is beautiful. Cliffs, beaches, forests. We stay in a cottage, explore tide pools, and eat fresh seafood. On the last night, watching the sunset, David asks, Could you live here, Mom? I'm starting to think so, I say. I love your life here. It'd be great to have you, he says. Back in Portland, the guest room feels like mine. The rain doesn't bother me anymore. It makes everything colorful. On my last night, David and Michael have a dinner party with friends. It's warm and fun, and I think I could fit here. While cleaning up, I say, I want to move to Portland. David almost drops a plate. Really? Yes, I say. It'll take time to sell my house, but I want to be near you. They're so happy, and we talk about plans, a new place or their backyard apartment. There's a lot to do, but I'm sure. On my last morning, I walk through their garden. The roses smell like my old garden with Robert. He'd want this, I think, for me to be happy. At the airport, we hug tightly. I'll be back soon, I say. Not just to visit. As the plane takes off, I watch Portland disappear below. At 70, I'm starting a new adventure. My name is Emily Thompson, and I'm moving to be with my son, not just for a month, but for the rest of my story.